Thank you, everyone, for joining this week's Resumania. If you would like to have your resume reviewed for a live session such as this one, please, anonymize it and include some way of contacting you, whether it be your email, your @ in the Discord, or Reddit username, something, and send that over to us at stemnetworkdiscord@gmail.com. If you like what you see here and you're watching from YouTube, or you're excited to watch it again on YouTube, please share the video with anyone you think might have something to gain from this, any peers or any friends or family who are struggling to find a job. This session, obviously, is being recorded, and a link to this video will be shared in our announcements channel when we post this online. Again, I want to thank you all for joining. I see we have quite a few people, and I want to remind everyone that you are allowed to speak up whenever you like. You're allowed to chat in the large meeting room chat channel. We just ask that we keep it orderly, and we defer to Emily whenever she's speaking. Tonight in particular, we kind of have a deadline of about an hour from now, but we try to keep these things to an hour. Doesn't always work out, but we like to do that regardless. So hopefully we won't have to cut anything too short. But do please keep in mind that in about 50 to 60 minutes, we're probably going to try and push through to the rest of this resume. If you have any technical issues, questions, comments, concerns, but you don't want to interrupt, again, you're welcome to speak in the chat, and someone will be sure that your thoughts are shared verbally for Emily to hear and for everyone to discuss. With all that being said, Emily, please take it away.
All right. Hi, guys. It's been a minute. Episode 10. Chase, I heard Chase did a wonderful job doing these while I was gone. But I like to do a little disclaimer at the beginning and say that I edit from an American perspective. So if you're in a different country, your different country might have different standards. Usually Canadian and the US resumes are very similar, but some other places might have, a little difference. All right. So we are doing SG Senpai's resume today. I like to start off with a kind of overview of how you feel about this resume in terms of layout. What kind of jumps out at you? I guess I'll start. I think that it is a little compact. There aren't really blank spaces at all between sections. I do see that they are using the horizontal lines to kind of break things up, but I, in my opinion, I think it's a little bit compact. What do you guys think? Anybody agree or disagree?
Yeah, I think the relevant coursework and activities sections can actually be removed and put into the education section, and then the added room from removing those two headers could be used to space things out more.
Okay, I see what you're saying. You're saying just put those two lines, the mechanical and electrical lines, underneath the university?
Yeah, or just relevant coursework, but then in the education section. And then the activity section is also a university-related activity. So that could also be, I guess you could put it in a subheading of the university experience or something like that.
Yeah, I think that we could definitely play around with formatting. It's not, I think we could kind of finagle it a little bit to get a little bit more spacing in between the sections. It's not totally smushed. I've seen much worse, but anybody else thoughts on, I think the font's really clear to read. It's good that, their name is the biggest thing on the page. What else do we got going on? Dates on the right-hand side. I'm happy about that. Go ahead.
Sorry to interrupt, but I guess, can we explain why compact is a bad thing?
It's not a bad thing. I think that the sections blend together a little bit, in my opinion. Maybe somebody disagrees with me. If you disagree with me, that's totally cool. It's kind of, I think formatting can get kind of personal preference. But yeah, when I look at this, maybe there's like a better way to kind of break it up in my mind. But that's kind of just, it's not like a universally bad thing at all. Any other thoughts on like just first impressions and layout?
I don't know if it's just because they've replaced it with placeholders, but the font for my email is larger than my phone number, my city, and my state, and it really annoys me.
Oh, zoom in, enhance. Oh my goodness, you're correct. It's slightly bigger.
Beautiful observation. Beautiful observation.
I'm surprised that like you can tell, like just because the pixels are so small. Slightly bigger.
I will say, Sergeant Senpai has chimed in to say that they were trying to fit everything in on one page. So it sounds like there might have been a struggle to keep everything on one page.
Okay, so they're able to hear us now? I hope so.
Seems like it.
Yeah.
Okay, good.
Yes, they can.
Okay, but that is good to keep everything on one page, especially at this level of experience. I think that that gets a thumbs up for me. All right, let's just unless anybody has any other like kind of impressions, let's just dive into from top to bottom sort of thing.
Yeah, I got
All right.
one thing.
Go
We're
ahead.
kind of about to jump into it anyway, but the objective up there I feel is kind of long. I feel like I'm about to start. Well, it's a paragraph that I'm about to read through, which isn't necessarily a bad thing because I haven't actually read it. Maybe there's a lot of very important things to say, but it does stick out to me as unusually long.
Yes. Okay, let's jump into it since Chase decided that we're jumping into it. No, I'm just kidding. I do. So I think what SG Senpai is trying to communicate in this section is that, hey, I have a degree in mechanical engineering. All of my experience pretty much is in manufacturing and quality, but I want to, I think this person wants to try to go more on the electrical side. Maybe I'm misinterpreting that. So what I kind of get from the objective statement is, hey, I'm passionate about electrical engineering, even though my experience is in a different field, and maybe this is why this person is applying to maybe more electrical engineering jobs. I don't know, Chase, do you remember if what
they say you're
sort of
correct.
jobs they're applying for?
Yeah, they say that you're correct in the general vibe of you switching over to electrical.
Okay. I think they probably could say the same thing in a lot less words. Because they are sort of reiterating a lot of the things we can already tell from the rest of the resume. Like the 5 years of aerospace industry experience, like we can see that they've worked since 2018 in the current company that they're at, and they did some previous work before that in a different company. But actually, they're the same company. But anyways, I do think that we could parse this down a lot. Usually, I'm against objective statements as like a blanket rule, but of course, there are always exceptions. My two exceptions are one, if you want to change fields, then it kind of helps to let people know that, hey, maybe I don't have as much experience in this sort of field. Like maybe my experience is in a different field, but I'm not applying to this job as a mistake. Like I'm interested in this field. And then the other objective statement I guess that's my other sort of exception to the rule is if your resume is like a million pages and you need some sort of quick objective / summary. But that's for, very senior resumes.
Would that also be targeted towards academic CVs out of curiosity?
Oh gosh.
Or is that a
Again,
completely different field?
so I am American. We don't really do CVs here unless you're like in academia.
Yeah, that's what I meant in terms of academic CVs. That's why,
Is Frost on?
No, I just checked. Should I ping him?
No.
I've
No,
not
it's fine.
seen. I've not seen or heard of objective statements being inside of an academic CV.
So yeah, I am. My personal background is not in academia; it's in industry. So I don't want to tell you like pick an answer and be totally wrong. So I'm not going to answer your question because I don't think I know the right answer. Is that fair?
That is completely fair. Thank you.
Okay, cool. So I don't know if we should actually sit and try to wordsmith this objective to cut it down a little bit. I think like one sentence would be ideal here.
Can I ask some questions about it that might lead us to a sort of general plan of what to change?
Sure.
Is it important to mention, let's see here, like is the end sentence too specific is one question I have. Because it's like a very specific thing to mention that you want to do, which might kind of limit you in depending on the role you're applying for, right?
Yeah, I mean, of course, we don't really know what job this person is applying to. Perhaps that's super relevant to the position. But I definitely think the first part of the sentence is kind of redundant to the rest of the resume. Like you can quickly look down and see that, yeah, you do have, a lot of experience in the manufacturing field. So I think that definitely could come out. I agree what you're saying that it is specific. I guess they're trying to kind of show how their contribution or how their past experience could be a contribution to like a future job. Even though it might not be in manufacturing, maybe they're going to electrical. They can still use their manufacturing background to help reduce costs when they're designing electrical stuff, or I don't know, something like that. Is that the a fair interpretation? I think that's kind of what they're trying to say. Okay. I don't think we need this second sentence because it should be clear from the job they apply to that they want to be in R&D. And then if they aren't applying to an R&D position, then that's kind of not relevant. I would somehow combine then the first and the last bit to kind of get one sentence sort of objective. How do we feel about that? Oh my gosh.
Yeah, I think that's possible. I was also going to say, I agree that the second sentence can be removed entirely, and then you can just kind of sneak in some, some kind of R&D interest into the first sentence. You want to become an expert or a contributor, a meaningful contributor to the field of aerospace or whatever, R&D.
Also, as a really quick comment, the word passion, I don't think it's bad, but maybe kind of rephrase that in a way to saying, on the job, I've picked up some things about electrical engineering, like on the job as well. So maybe rephrase that into a way where it's more clear that even though their educational background and their main function and their role is like manufacturing or quality, that they have picked up some like electrical and skills relevant to electrical engineering on the job.
I think that might be for later sections. Maybe not in the objective statement. Personally, I think that like if they want to go into electrical, they basically need to emphasize every single electrical, anything that they touched in any of their positions or projects. I think it's okay to be super general for the objective statement though. Like this, because I think it's just kind of like letting the person know that, hey, I know I'm not a, electrical engineer via my major, but, I still am interested in it and want to, pursue it. But let's keep moving since we've got a little bit short on time today. We can look and see what their electrical experience is down the way. All right, education section looks fine. If you wanted to, if you're really short on space, you could do my university and then comma Bachelor of Science in Mechanical Engineering, and my community college and then comma Associate of Science, so that that would save you 2 lines right there. Depending on the length of the names of your, university. It's good to know. I don't think it needs to be at the top since you graduated in 2017. However, if you're trying to get away from manufacturing, then maybe I can understand why you're doing that. But still, it's a little like, when I read it, it's like a little question mark in my mind. Like, why is education at the top? Experience should be at the top once you've, had a few years out of school. So that's kind of my reaction to the education section. Let's look at skills. I think the bold is throwing me off here. Is that why I'm having trouble? That might be why I'm having trouble kind of distinguishing these sections, because there's just like a lot of bold. Maybe that's my problem. I don't know. But okay, programming, hardware, software, communication. I know that you have Microsoft Office here. Oh no. But SolidWorks is more relevant than Microsoft Office, so I would list it first. Oh, you probably did it in alphabetical order. Is that what you did? No, it's not alphabetical in the other section. So I would suggest when you're listing your skills to do it by relevancy. So like, if you use SolidWorks a lot and you know the job posting, requires you to know SolidWorks, then you list that first. Because, we read from top to bottom, left to right. So we want to put the most relevant stuff, so you see it first. Communication. How do you guys feel about this communication section?
I do want to say I appreciate that they list reports basically and manuals. Like these are, I don't know if I would use that verbiage to say it's a skill, but being able to make these things I think is valuable.
Okay.
Yeah, I was. I'm on the fence. I'm kind of ambivalent about it. I feel like it's something that might be mentioned in the experiences, but not maybe explicitly stated as a line here.
Okay, I hear that. I have no idea what AS 9102 is or AS 9145. I don't know if those are industry specific. I don't even know what RCCA stands for. Does anybody in the chat or anybody listening know what RCCA stands for? Nope. Okay. So
It's
I'm.
root cause corrective action.
Oh, okay. So like lean stuff. Okay. So if the person is going into manufacturing, then like you can assume that I think somebody would know what that means. But because this person is not looking at manufacturing and they don't want to do manufacturing anymore, really, I think either you have to write it out and let people know what it is. And same thing with the AS9. Like that doesn't really mean anything to me. Maybe people in the manufacturing world would know what that is, but I do not. I don't think that's like a common sort of what is it called? Abbreviation? Acronym? So I see what they're trying to do, and I understand Chase's point, but I might have to agree with, I don't know if it was Grayson or Eric who said this, but I might say that we should keep these items into their like where the person has done these things in the bullet points below, and maybe not have it as a separate skill section. Thoughts? You guys agree? Disagree?
That was me. I agree.
Chase, I'm sorry. I know
No,
you liked the reports.
I think the
No,
one
that's
thing.
fine, that's fine. I
Oh.
agree.
Go ahead, Chase. Sorry, I'm so sorry.
No, it's fine. I agree. It sounds like the reports kind of belong in bullet points. I just meant to say, if communication is going to be here, I appreciate that there's more concrete things and not just professional communication or
Yes,
written and
that is
verbal.
also true.
I think it's better than what I have typically seen, but I do agree that it can be rearranged to be more concise and to keep the higher priority items up top.
Yeah. And then you're kind of emphasizing the skills by making that section smaller, in my mind. And then I know I probably didn't say this yet. I probably forgot to say this, but these should also be ordered by relevancy as well, from top to bottom. So like if you're going to program a lot at your job, then heck yes, like make sure that programming stuff is at the top. But if you're going to be using CATIA a lot, or you won't really be programming that much, then maybe move it down. Again, top to bottom, left to right. All right. All right, let's move on over to the first experience. So I see that they do like kind of a description of what the company does in italics. I think it's kind of a wasted bullet point or wasted line, because while I personally think that your bullet points should be giving sort of context to like what you do and how your like what you've done fits into like the bigger picture of the machine shop or whatever. I don't think having a separate line really is that necessary. And again, it just frees up more space for you. So I actually would suggest to take it out and somehow indicate like design and inspection tool for an aerospace machine shop. That measured blah, 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 blah. So that's kind of what I would suggest, is kind of integrate this like descriptor here into the bullet points below. All right. Integrate into bullet. All right. And then
I noticed that the company description is only for that latter experience of yours, or it looks like.
Are you reading
okay,
ahead?
they're both called current. They're both called current company.
Hey, you're reading ahead.
Oh, okay. I thought there was an inconsistency, but they're the same company.
Yeah, I think it's the same job, just two different roles. That's what I'm
Yeah.
getting, although they're very similar roles. Yeah, that definitely gives me a question mark. If they're the same company, pretty much the same role, why they're splitting it up? Because there's no gap between the two. Maybe one was like part-time while they were doing a school or something. When did they graduate? Yeah, that might be it. They graduated in 2017. So they did, I guess, 1 year, 2016, 2017. All right, but that's getting ahead of ourselves. Okay. So I'm going to do a little spiel on bullet points before we get into them. I personally like using, I'll write it at the top here, the STAR method to bullet points or the Google XYZ method. And so these are just two ways to kind of help you get the most details out of like what you've done and write really strong bullet points. So STAR stands for situation, task, action, and then result. And the Google XYZ method is, I think it's did X as measured. Oh God, I massacred that. As measured, or like, using tool like Y, resulting in Z. And ideally, you want to use, you want to have STAR and or, X, Y, and Z all in one bullet point to kind of, tell the whole story of, hey, this is like what I did. This is why I did it. And this is like, why it mattered or how it impacted the rest of the company or the project or whatever. So the reason why I'm doing this is because I see really short bullet points on the way down. And so I like to suggest that all bullet points kind of follow this format. So let's read this first bullet point. We got design an inspection tool that measured a feature at a lathe that normally required use of a coordinate measuring machine to measure accurately. After performing our gauge R&R study, new tool was found to be more effective than previous at machine inspection methods. Okay, that's a long 2 sentences. I think that's a little wordy. So what did you do? You designed the inspection tool. Why did you do it? Because, the old method sucked or something like that, right? And then the result is, it actually performed better. So you do have like the stuff, all of like what I want to hear in that one bullet point is just to use a lot of words to say those things.
Is it missing the task part?
They're tasked with designing an inspection tool. The situation and task I kind of throw together.
But isn't it sort of like, I actually don't know. Is it like, can you just say you designed something, or do you have to specify how? Or is that fine?
No, I mean, if they specified how, that would have made the bullet point even stronger.
Okay.
Should they have specified why? So is it in terms of like this was process improvement, or like was this like, I don't know.
So I'm guessing the why is they had to use this coordinate measurement machine before, and I'm guessing now they don't have to use that, or the measurements are more accurate. It says more effective. The more effective is like a little like wishy-washy to me. Like, what does that actually mean, that it's more effective?
Yeah.
How does like a measurement device, be more effective at measuring? Perhaps maybe like there just some like really like not like sketchy, but like some really like hand wavy way of, like eyeballing things. And this was like, oh, let's actually use a ruler or something like that. Like, oh, that's an improvement.
In an ideal world, would you want to be hearing something along the lines of improved accuracy by 50%, time by like reduced time by like 20% or something? Or is that then too specific?
No. Having quantifiable measured results is 99% of the time is a good thing. But yeah, so that I guess would kind of be like, how more effective is it? Like by X percentage? Like, but again, like measuring tools, I don't get the effectiveness. It's kind of thrown me off. Like maybe it was like more accurate, but effective. I don't know. All right, I think we've talked about that one enough. I should probably mark it up a little bit more though, huh?
They say in the chat, or she says in the chat, the gauge R&R, I guess, was an old tool with 50% of tolerance. New tool was 1% of tolerance.
Okay, so you can say how much you improved by then. I'd say that. So I'm just gonna say like quantitative. Quantify improvement. Okay. And all right, so I don't know if the coordinate measurement machine part of the sentence is really adding any more information. Unless that was like the why it was more effective is because you didn't have to use that coordinate measurement machine. But I would say like make this. I'm just gonna be lazy about it, and I'm gonna say make this one sentence and follow the STAR method. Which you're almost there. It's just little tweaks. Okay, design multiple fixtures that held complex machine parts during CMM inspection. Fixtures improved CMM throughput. Okay, so I want to know what these fixtures are for. What's complex about them? Like, were there any like super tight tolerances? Like, why was it? Like, what were your fixtures doing that was like, what were they like kind of being designed for? Again, how you used it or how you designed these things would be helpful. I guess you can, Grayson or Eric, I get you guys, your voices sound similar to me. How is always helpful. Okay.
I haven't spoken the entire time, so it's Grayson, don't worry.
Okay. Okay, so I wouldn't worry about this. I feel like we got a lot about the first bullet point, but then it's kind of like less and less as we go down. So we really want to try to, draw out those details. And I know it can be really overwhelming if you've done like, if you've done multiple fixtures, you're like, how do I, be specific when I've done like a bunch of them? You can say like, drop the number. How many did you do? Did you do 20 fixtures? Did you do 200 fixtures? Because, those are like very, different quantities and will require different, skill sets. And how do you know that the fixtures improved throughput? Like, was there something, like a quantitative result there? I think so that's the result, but by how? Like by like what percent? And like kind of yeah, I think that's seems good.
It could also be one sentence. You could just like
Yes.
Say
Yes.
leading to an improvement in throughput or something by so and so metric.
Yes. Good catch. And okay, I'm gonna write this at the top here. I want to say, like name drop these skills into your bullet points, because when I read modeled aerostructure parts from drawings, I'm like, okay, well, what did they use? Did they use CATIA? Did they use SolidWorks? Probably CATIA, because CATIA is listed first. But like, write that in there, because that's giving an example of you being able to use that software. So you'd be like, it's kind of like backing up your skill section. Like, oh, this person actually, like, anybody can just write like, hey, I can use CATIA in the skill section. But if you actually put it in your bullet points, like, hey, I used CATIA to do this, and it's like, I believe you a little bit more. CATIA? Question mark. And again, I would want you to follow the STAR method. Sometimes it can be a little bit difficult to think of results when you can't really think of any. But like, why were you modeling these parts from the archive drawings? Were you guys switching to like a paperless sort of thing, and you had to go through all of the old like actual drafts and kind of put it into the CAD system that you have going? How did that help other people design stuff? Maybe it like made your assemblies more complete. I don't know. So that's definitely missing a result. And honestly, I kind of want to hear what kind of aerostructure parts, just because maybe that's just me, but I think that would be kind of something interesting. Like, I don't know, wings, like ailerons.
They said customer provided blueprints from the 70s. We use CAM to drive tool paths. I don't really know what that means personally, but
I think that might be for
cool.
the previous bullet point.
If it's she clearly says she used CNC tools, lathing, so it's going to be a small part that goes into the airplane, so it won't be wings or anything else.
Oh, that was just an example. All right. But basically, I'd suggest trying to follow the STAR method for that one, and then the rest of the bullet points. Hello. The past tense of lead is led. If anybody's wondering. Led company-wide AP QP. Gosh, it's 20 ones, isn't it? Again, I don't think anybody who's really not in quality or stuff like that would really be familiar with this. So I'd suggest kind of spelling these out. What are they? And then also, what did that entail? Like, was that a lot of work? I don't know. I kind of want you to be more specific about what your like actual actions were and your like contributions. And then, of course, any results.
Like, why would you care?
Yeah. Yeah. Like, how does it demonstrate that you're an awesome engineer? Basically. And results. All right. What time is it? What do we got? Oh my God. Let's keep going. Okay, so I know we had a question about this earlier. If these are the same company, we probably could just take this out. In my mind.
I agree.
And then we can like push it up a little bit, maybe. So like, and then you could do like 2016 here. Because you have it straight through anyways, right? June.
What about just delete the company's name, but put the dates on the same sentence of the name of the role.
Of the position? Yeah.
Position.
So that's also like a little confusing to me because the position titles are very, very similar. It
I
seems
was
like
gonna
almost
say it might be better to just list the first one as quality engineer and the second one as manufacturing engineer and remove any slashes.
yeah, maybe just like pick one. But
Yeah, because
maybe
I think that's if you had to pick two of them, those are the two best sounding ones to me. I feel like.
Yeah, I agree. Because QC inspector is more like a technician job.
inspectors, yeah. That's true. So maybe like quality engineer for the bottom one and then manufacturing engineer for the top one.
That's what I was thinking.
Okay. And let's I liked that, Meowbot, if that was you. I liked leaving the dates and putting it with the position title. I think that's a good idea. Boop. And boop. All right. Okay. Past tense of lead is led. Led activities which created better accountability. Oh man, how? How? And like, what was your contribution? Like your specific contribution? Like, did you just sit at the front and like, conduct everybody? Or did you actually like, do stuff? Contribution? Question mark. My handwriting's pretty bad today. I apologize, guys. Lowered scrap rate. Ideally, you'd know the percentage. Better accountability is obviously very difficult to quantify. But scrap rate, I feel like that could be kind of quantified. And even if you don't know exactly like what it is, I think it's helpful even to just ballpark it because like 5% versus 500%, like just like knowing kind of the general, like the general impact that your actions had can be helpful to kind of understand the scale, I guess.
So do you think that kind of adding a how after better accountability would be beneficial because it's not necessarily quantifiable, but you could still kind of describe what you did? Oh.
This is supposed to be how.
My bad. No, I'm looking at the image on a web browser. I'm not watching the stream. I'm an idiot. That's my bad.
No worries. It's just I know the quality can be pretty terrible sometimes. So, but I had to poke fun at you there. All right. So definitely, how is the biggest question I have reading that bullet point because the action and result aren't super obviously connected in my mind. So maybe connecting those two together, the action and reaction, would help. These last two are kind of just actions. Generated the inspection plans and generated quality documents. If you're going to include it, like if you're going to write like generated quality documents, I think you want to like for every task that you're including here, you want to be as detailed as possible to try to communicate all of the hard work you've done, basically. So we can also like do numbers here. Like, did you make like 5 quality documents? Did you make like templates for like quality documents, or did you actually like, I don't know, do audits? I'm not very good with quality stuff, but go ahead.
from the formalized internal procedure part, I feel like that this is more so like, hey, I took word of mouth and put it to paper, which is good. But I think this could also be made to sound better, both for you and to make your company look better by saying something more along the lines of generated quality documents to establish procedures or something like that. Having the word formalized in there tells me that
It was
the company-
informal. Yeah.
That it was informal beforehand. Exactly.
Yeah. Yeah.
Mhm.
That would make it. That's true. Like, you guys were doing stuff, but it wasn't written down and nobody really knew about it. But I wrote it down now, so it's good. No, I hear you, Chase. That's a good idea. And I think you can tie this up to the all the stuff you wrote in the communication bullet point. All of these reports, I'm guessing, is what you're talking about here. You can just I would just throw them in here. Maybe not like AS 910 whatever, but like kind of giving a general description of what they are. I think would be a little helpful, because then we kind of know what you're talking about a little bit better, rather than just having like the like names of it, like the number. So I'm gonna add detail and results. So the results for in doing these quality documents and writing down these internal procedures. That must be really helpful if, like, Joe, who works at the works on the lathe, if he just has tribal knowledge and nothing's written down. If we lose Joe, then we lose that lathe. But if you actually have procedures and documents in place, then that makes it easier to replace Joe. So I think that can be kind of a result. It's more of a soft, squishy result, but basically improving the company is by not. I don't want to say like making people more replaceable, but how do you say that? Anyway, do you guys know what I'm trying to say? I'm totally botching it right now.
Are you trying to say formalize internal procedures?
Yeah, I mean, that's like a cynical way of phrasing it, but it is kind of how it is. You could say something about more robust to something, or some such nonsense.
Maybe like a quicker training time. I don't know. Like for new employees, I don't know. But basically, you just got to think about so I did this, but how did it actually affect other people or the company as a whole? Like, I made these reports and they just went into this file folder. But if somebody actually
Could you phrase it as
one day, how would that help them?
Did you phrase it as improving or establishing an onboarding process? Or is that's not really accurate, but
it could be onboarding
positive.
if that's what it was.
Yeah.
Unfortunately, internal procedures could be a lot of different things, but
True.
onboarding could definitely be one of them. If that's what they did, I think that would be a good word to use. But again, I don't know.
Also, I feel compelled to say this, but there's a lot of repeats of first words.
Oh, yeah.
throughout.
I think that is a good point. They do say generated 3 times.
Designed, led.
I do have a really good, I don't know if it's pinned, but basically, I think if you Google resume action words, there's a document with hundreds of them. And you can just, scroll through all of these beautiful, wonderful resume strong action words, and kind of pick and choose which ones you like the best. But that is a good point. Thank you for bringing that up. I will write it at the top here. Let's say vary your action verbs. Okay. How are we doing on time? Oh my God, it's 7. Okay. Let's quickly do this last one. Projects. Okay. I don't think you need to write the goal of the project because that kind of seems obvious to me. Is that obvious to you guys? Seems a little obvious to me.
The goal of a project is just to do something. So, yeah, to manufacture. Yeah,
I feel like we got that from the title. Of
Yeah,
the
that's
project, right?
That seems completely redundant.
Okay, I'm gonna take that.
I agree.
I
also think the project title is very I don't know if it's just because I don't have a formal engineering education, but that doesn't is that not confusing to other people, or
it's very
vacuum tube
electrical.
output transformer coupled differential amplifier. So is it a coupled differential amplifiers one thing, or I just don't know the terms?
Wouldn't it be a vacuum tube transformer coupled to a differential amplifier? Is how I read that, which sounds
Okay.
like very realistic. It sounds like realistic headphone words to me. Is all I got. I don't know.
That's a good basis.
Where's our electrical engineer? Is that you? Who's the electrical engineer in the chat?
I think that's Daniel, isn't it?
I can't see the text.
Howdy.
Oh, what do you think about this vacuum tube output transformer coupled differential amplifier? Is that a thing? Like, does that make sense to you?
Yes, from like an electronic standpoint, yes.
Yeah. So what do they got? Do they have transformer coupled to a differential amplifier, or is the differential amplifier the transformers themselves?
That's I'm assuming that's some sort of circuit where it has amplifiers. So yes.
Maybe the coupled word is throwing me off. Like, what's coupled to what?
I think there should be either a with or a to somewhere in there.
Or a hyphen, like transformer coupled.
Yeah.
Like coupled with a transformer. I don't know. Maybe that's wrong though. Maybe that's not.
Everyone has a different interpretation.
Yeah, maybe that's not what it actually means.
I feel like coupled in that, like in a relatively loose context, is definitely thrown around in the small bits of electrical engineering I've seen. A lot of things are coupled, so I feel like it's kind of not out of place.
Connected. Yeah. Okay, let's do these bullet points. Use SolidWorks to model an enclosure from dimensions provided by enclosure manufacturer. Okay. Create an assembly to lay out components. Generated engineering drawings for external manufacturer to put holes in purchased enclosure. Okay, so what did they do? I'm guessing they bought a enclosure. They modeled it up in SolidWorks. They laid out their circuit inside the enclosure, and then they asked the external manufacturer to put the holes in the right spots. That is what I'm getting from this. We could say, I think we should kind of, I don't know if I should be like more concise here. You are saying like three separate things that you're doing. You could probably combine the first 2 sentences, I would say, as like the kind of like the modeling and assembly, kind of like, planning layout. And then having the engineering drawings being sent. Yeah. All right. Do you guys agree with that? That we should combine those first 2, at least.
Sorry, I wasn't listening. I'm caught up in this semantic thing, and I googled transformer coupled amplifiers. So I know.
Yeah, I also stopped taking notes. Could you repeat whatever the last point you just made was?
No worries. I'm just happy someone's here talking to me. I'm not just by myself cogging to the void.
Or I've got 166 lines of notes, so
Well, we do this. You don't need to take notes. Don't be silly.
someone said at the start that would be useful, so I've just been typing.
Oh, well, this is
I've
all gonna
also
be
been
uploaded to
taking so
YouTube.
many notes.
This is all going to be uploaded to YouTube, so you can, remix it however you want. I would say combine these two sentences: the using the SolidWorks to model stuff, and then making a assembly to lay out like their components. So I'd combine those two in sort of like a modeling / like layout, kind of like the layout in general in SolidWorks. But yay, SolidWorks. Yay, Chase. Okay. And then I guess this could be a separate bullet point if they wanted to. I don't like saying various and other components. I like to be as specific as possible, but yeah, that's fine. I'll leave it. Generated a BOM from schematic and sourced appropriately spec electrical components. Okay. Assembled amplifier to use point-to-point wiring techniques, routing wires in such a way to minimize the noise floor. I don't know what a noise floor is, but it sounds impressive. Or I guess not impressive because we want to minimize it. Did it work? That is my biggest question. Did it
worked very well.
work? Well, I think this person should include that it worked.
They sort of implicitly said that it's worked, haven't they? In that they routed the wires to minimize the noise floor. It's like otherwise.
Well, they
otherwise
can route the wires intending to
Oh, that's true.
the work floor, but it could end up not working at the end or something like that for a different reason. But that's kind of like, I guess, maybe if they said like, maybe if they worded it in a slightly different way, it's like, oh, I did this, and the outcome was that it sounded great, and the noise floor was actually minimized. I don't know if that's like just really subtle, but that's kind of what I see. Okay, I need to go faster. Relevant coursework. We said that usually I don't like relevant coursework, especially if you graduated in 2017. However, I do believe you need as much help as you can get with electrical stuff. But honestly, you didn't take a lot of electronics classes, so it might be hurting you. Yeah, okay, let me quickly do the rest of this. The University FSAE team is a smaller font size. I'm guessing it's to fit on one page. Font. I want you to use the STAR method or Google XYZ for these two. However, it was a long time ago. Timing gate system user Arduino. Yeah, again, it's like, how did you do this? Why did you do this? What was the result? What tools did you use? How does this show that you're a good engineer? All of the above. I'm going to just write STAR up here. Okay. I don't have... Oh, I didn't write anything. I don't know. Maybe, I'm going to say maybe remove on the coursework. I honestly think... Oh, wait. There isn't a date for the personal project, which I think is a little... I would say write a date here. But I think you are going to have a little bit of a difficult time getting a job that's electrical, considering you don't really have very much electrical experience, unless you're okay with starting at an entry level. I would honestly put anything electrical, which is, I guess, your personal project and your activities up, because that's kind of like the only real like hard electrical experience you have. So I think you have to kind of like work with what you got. Definitely be more specific about FSAE. FSAE is huge. I don't think people realize how huge it is, but a lot of really awesome companies recruit direct from FSAE.
What do you feel? How do you feel about removing relevant coursework is a potential thing because it doesn't add to the electrical experience as much. And then what if you removed activities and then put that university FSAE team experience into projects and then put projects toward the top because those are both very much related to electrical work?
Yeah, I kind of like that idea. I like the putting the FSAE in projects because it is pretty much a project. So it makes sense. So yeah, that's a good idea. Let's combine these two guys, but not relevant coursework. Let's see. Oh gosh, how do I say it? Put this guy here? Is that too many arrows? Oh no. All right, that's gonna be what it is. So I hope that makes sense. If not, hopefully they watch the video or I'm listening to what I'm saying. Yeah, I do think it's going to be a little difficult. I would suggest, so I don't know when you did your personal project for the headphones, but honestly, I suggest like making something like tomorrow, like starting another personal project that's electronics related as soon as you can, and just getting more experience with it. Because I think you could definitely get a manufacturing job, but electrical is going to be a little bit more difficult, I think.
What do you think about the order of the sections? Like, what do you think they should be?
So yeah, I think I remember saying like, let's wait until we read the resume to like talk about order. I think education could probably, I might think we do objective projects, education. No. Objective projects, experience, education, and then skill somewhere in there. You also don't say where you use these programming skills anywhere in your bullet points. But where did you use these? Did you do like projects or something? Did you use these? Okay. What time is it? I need to go. Yeah, I need to go. All right. Overall, what do you guys think? Let's do a little quick wrap up. Sorry, I'm kind of totally just rushing at the end here.
Yeah, other than the organization of the sections, which I think is something that we may not have a consensus on, I was curious, or I wanted to bring up the dates of the things. All of the educational experiences are dated without months, and then everything else has months. It just seems unnecessary. Like, why not just chuck months? Just do them all the same, you know?
Yep. Being consistent.
Very trivial, but
yeah. No, I hear that. Sometimes I triage. You know what I mean?
I would say that I agree or suggest with moving projects above experience, with removing coursework, especially since it was mentioned before that there was an issue trying to fit everything on one page. On that note, I think there should be more priority on showing an electrical engineering focus rather than showing everything. I feel like the resume doesn't match the objective. If you take out the objective and I read this resume, I feel like you are an ME looking for ME work. And I think you can do more to focus saying that I'm interested in electrical engineering. And and do more projects. Or if you're trying to find a new job as soon as possible that's close to EE, maybe you can keep in manufacturing but have a focus on semiconductors or electrical components. Start to pivot in that direction. That's a possibility, I think.
Oh, that's very smart advice. That's very smart advice, Chase. Thank you for that. All right. I think I've got to go, but I will post this in the chat. And thank you, everybody, for joining. And I hope to see you guys all next week.
Thank you.
Thank you, Emily.
All right.
Bye.
Have a good weekend.
This is hosting the after party.
Me and Avocado are just the greatest secretaries of all time.
Are you guys gonna send your notes to SG Senpai?
Yes, I can definitely do that. Do that right now.